Everyone, can you see my screen? Everybody can see that?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Right. What we'll do is get started. Well, welcome everyone. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see my screen. Welcome to Maximise Your Business for More Success. We are so pleased to see so many of you on this evening and just ready to learn more about how you can take your business to the next level. And it is through these three key components: mindset, marketing, and money management. So who is this webinar for? Well, the fact that you're on, I take it that you believe it's for you, and that's good. It's for entrepreneurs and small business owners. So you may be in a startup, just started your business. This is for you. How can you maximize your business? What are the key tools, key things that you need to take your business to the next level? This is what we're going to be talking about this evening. The webinar outcomes, what will you be getting from the time that we have together? Well, you're going to learn why mindset is vital in business, and I'll be covering that. My name is Simone Bell, and I'll do an intro shortly when I begin the session. And you're going to know how to establish your brand and position your business in the marketplace. And Melissa Shervington is going to be leading that session. Again, she will introduce herself more, tell you more about herself, and Royston Cumberbatch will be helping you to understand the importance of money management. And these three, like I said earlier, these three components, you need to have them, get them down pat in order to make sure that your business is a success. It's great having a business, but the key is to have a successful business. So this is what we're going to be talking about this evening. Now, as we will be having a Q&A at the end after all three sessions, we're going to have a 15-minute Q&A. So if you've got questions that come to you as we're speaking, as any of the speakers are presenting, just pop your question. There's a Q&A box, and I hope that you can see that. If there are any issues, then, do raise your hand or let somebody know. But there's a Q&A box. Just pop your question in there, and we hope to get through all of the questions. Obviously, time is always against us, but that's our aim, to get through as many questions as possible. But hopefully we'll cover enough during our presentations so that you get everything that you need. So let's get started. Why mindset mastery is vital for more business success. So I'm going to be covering the mindset as part of the presentation. So who am I? Who is Simone? Well, I'm Simone Bell. I'm an award-winning success coach and public speaker. Been in business for nearly 10 years now. And prior to that, I was working in the event management industry, working for large global companies, traveling the world, managing events for large, mainly pharmaceutical companies. And then I'm a firm believer in the saying that if you're not building your dream, you're building somebody else's. And it soon became clear to me that that's what I was doing. I was building somebody else's dream and not living in my purpose, which I'll be talking a bit about this evening, about purpose. And so I invested in myself, in my personal development, in my business development, a series of business courses and coaches and mentors, and then launched my own business, which is now an award-winning event management business, and then began coaching. We're getting a lot of questions and people asking me about advice about how to launch their business, how to be successful in business. And so the coaching really developed from there, which I've been doing for the last 5 or so years now. So I mainly work with female entrepreneurs, predominantly Christian mothers in business, and help them to have more purposeful and more profitable businesses, because I believe that your business can be purposeful and it can be profitable. And so that's what I help female entrepreneurs to do. So let's get started. So session outcomes, what I'll be speaking to you this evening, by the end of it, you'll understand the importance of purpose, how to develop a strong vision and why you need to develop a strong vision for your business, and aligning your mission. So really the three things are sort of purpose, vision, and mission, and making sure that all of those three are aligned in order to have a successful business or more success. We speak from a place of, you know, you're successful, but how do we gain more success for our business? So what I'll be covering this evening comes from my system, the Abundant Entrepreneur Accelerator, and that's what the system that I use to take my clients through. There are 7 steps to it: mindset, motivation, money, mapping, message, management, and mastery. And within those are then a series of modules within each of those steps. Now, obviously time won't allow me to go through all of them. I'd love to, but I just don't have the time. So I'm literally going to be taking step 1 and even then sort of giving you as much as I can in the time allows. But, you know, there'll be an opportunity if you'd like to deep dive a bit further, then I'll tell you how to do that. So let's get started. What is mindset and why is it so vital? So we hear a lot about mindset. You may have heard, you know, we talk about mindset, you may have heard it's important, but what is mindset? When we hear this word, what are we actually talking about? And just think about that for a moment. What is mindset? And I was going to ask you to, if you can use the chat, if you have an idea, pop it in the chat. You know, what is mindset? When you hear somebody say about mindset, what are we actually talking about? Give you a few moments to do that, because I like participation. You'll learn about me that I like to get you involved. I just don't want to speak at you. But so if I ask for just some participation, I hope you don't mind. If that's okay, let me know, what is mindset. So got a few coming through now to me. Yeah, exactly. Self-belief. Yeah, exactly. Belonging, knowledge. Great. All of these answers. Mindset. What is mindset? When we're talking about mindset, we're literally, mindset determines your focus. Thank you for that. When we're talking about mindset, what we're talking about is a set of beliefs. So that's come through, self-belief, it determines your focus. We're talking about a set of beliefs, the way you think about something. So we can have a mindset about many different things. We can have a money mindset. So Royston's going to be talking about money. We could think a certain way about money. We can have a mindset or a set of beliefs around family, around faith, religion, all these different things. And we can have a mindset around business. Why is it so vital what our mindset is doing and the way we think? Why is it so important about the way we think about business? Because if you've heard the saying, what you think then determines your actions, and your actions determine your results. So the way you think about business is the way you're going to do business. And then that's going to determine how successful your business is or not, as the case may be. So that's why it's so vital that you have the right mindset, you have the right set of beliefs, you have the right understanding about business. And that's why it starts there. It's vital that you get this part right, that component, because it's almost the foundation for which everything else is going to be built on. Everything else is going to come after that. So when you're building a house, you've got to lay a good foundation, right? You know, I don't build houses, but you know, if you're building a house is being built, the foundation has to be right. And so our mindset has to be right. Because I say that because you can read all of the books, you can come on all of the webinars, get all of the information to be successful and get all the theory. But if you don't have the right mindset to implement what you've heard, to act upon what you've learned, then you're not going to be successful. And so that's when we sort of turn into course junkies, or you know, we're doing all these courses and we're trying to get all these coaches and thinking, almost following the shiny penny and thinking that next thing is going to make me successful. But actually, is it that your mindset isn't right? And is that the reason why you're not successful? So mindset is key. It is said that success is 90% mindset. So that's a staggering figure, right? That 90%, and that's why I say you can learn all the stuff. You know, Melissa's going to be talking about marketing and Royston's going to be talking about money management. But if your mindset isn't right, then you're not going to do, you're not going to act upon what Melissa speaks about, or Royston tells you about, or managing your money. So mindset is vital. So you may have heard of Carol Dweck. If you haven't, it's absolutely fine. She is an American psychologist, and she's known for her mindset work. So she does a lot around mindset. And whether or not you may have heard about fixed mindset and growth mindset, it was Carol Dweck that came up with this theory that there are two mindsets that sort of navigate us through life. So we use fixed mindset or a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is the mindset that says that, our intelligence or talent is fixed. It can't be developed. It is what it is. We only know what we know. It can't be developed. Whereas a growth mindset says or believes that intelligence or talent is just the starting point, and that we can learn anything, we can grow. It's about the effort. It's about what you put in, and you can develop from there. So let me give you an example of that. So fixed mindset, people with a fixed mindset may say things like this. You can see on the screen, I'm only good at certain things. I give up when it gets too hard. I hate challenges. I take feedback to heart. I don't like doing what I don't know. It's that sort of fixed mindset. I only know what I know, or I only like doing what I know. But on the flip side of that is a growth mindset that says I can be good at anything. I try until I get the results I want. I embrace challenges. I welcome feedback. I like learning about things I don't know. And that's why even in business, it's so important that you have the right mindset, a growth mindset, because you're not going to know everything about everything. Nobody does. But if you believe that you can learn, and you like learning things, and you can be good at anything if you're open enough to learn and develop. I guess that's why you're here this evening. You've come on this webinar to maybe learn more tools and tips. That's that evidence of a growth mindset. And that's what is needed for success, and more success in business, is that you have a growth mindset, and that you're not fixed, you're not stuck in your ways, because that's only going to take you so far. So in order to get to the next level, we're going to need to develop and grow. So let's dig a little bit deeper in that. So think about that right now. Where would you say, I'm not going to ask you to tell me or anything like that, but just looking at that, where do you think that you sit? Fixed mindset or growth mindset? And there may be people here that are saying, okay, well, I think I'm a fixed mindset. I've always believed, well, I'm really good at certain things, or etc. That's okay. You can move out of that. And that's why here, this is what I'm going to be talking to you about, is how to move into a growth mindset and stay there and keep developing that. So in order to do that, in order to talk to you tonight and to really take on a journey of moving into a growth mindset and growing, I'm going to be taking you through the renewed focus formula. Like I said, it's from my system, the Abundant Entrepreneur Accelerator. And there are three key things I'm going to be speaking about, which is purpose, perception, and pursuit. And these three are key, like I said, foundation for which everything else is going to come after. So let's talk about purpose. What is purpose? Why is it important? And how do you find your purpose? Now, when I'm talking about purpose here, I'm talking about your personal purpose. I know we're talking about business, and Melissa is going to be covering about, your business purpose, but I just want to start here about your personal purpose. Who here believes they know what their purpose is? You know what your purpose is in life. Well, let's talk about what it is. What is purpose? Purpose is the reason why something exists. It's the reason why something exists. A chair, when you think about a chair, what is the purpose of a chair? Why does a chair exist? For us to sit on. Yeah, that's why it was created. Now, it may be used for other things. It may be used to, prop open a door or to put things on. But its primary purpose, the reason it was created was for people to sit on. And that's like us. We may have different techniques or skill or uses, for lack of a better word, but there is a reason why we're here. Now, whatever your beliefs or not of, faith or anything like that, I'm not really speaking about that, but I'd like to think that each of us would believe that we're here for more than just being here. Yeah, there's something that, more to us just existing, but there's something that we are to accomplish. And so that's your purpose. And finding your purpose, why it's important is because when you find your purpose, you flow. It gives meaning to life, and it gives meaning to everything else that comes after, i.e. your business. When you're walking in your purpose, when you understand what your purpose is, then that comes into your business values. And therefore, you're going to run your business accordingly. And that's why it's so important to know your purpose and to be walking in your purpose. Because with that you'll make the most impact when you're walking in your purpose. When you understand what your purpose is, you will make the most impact. Have you ever been in a situation or a place, and maybe a job, or prior to business, or even in your business, and feeling like you're not making the impact that you want to? What may becomes so easy to others, you just don't feel like it's really hitting for you. Is it because you're not in purpose? Because with your purpose becomes a level of ease. Now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that everything will be easy, but there is a level of ease. There's a peace, a comfort, your sweet spot when you hit your purpose, when you know you're in your purpose. And how you find it is, your passion is an indicator of your purpose, what you're passionate about. It can sometimes even materialize as almost a burden. So I always say to people that maybe you're the answer that you're looking for. So you might see something and you're like, why is no one doing anything about that? And it's troubling you, and why is no one else bothered about that? Is it that that's your purpose? Is it that you're so passionate about it because you're meant to be doing something about it? That's your purpose. So it's your passion is an indicator of your purpose. Roy T. Bennett says, if you have a strong purpose in life, you don't have to be pushed. Your passion would drive you there. So when you have a strong purpose and you get up and go. So your passion, it would drive you there. Your business, you won't have to be pushed into with your business. You're gonna be passionate about your purpose and your business. Yeah. So this is why I do so much work with my clients around finding your purpose, because that's where I had to start, finding my purpose. And from there, everything else flows. Your business flows out of that. So from that, understanding your purpose, then we're talking about business now. Successful businesses have a strong vision. We're talking about having a purpose. When you know your purpose, your personal purpose, your business, you're then aligning your business and everything in your business, your values, etc., to your purpose. With that comes your vision. What is the vision that you have for your business? Do you have a vision statement for your business? When we're talking about vision, we're talking about seeing beyond where you are right now. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What is it? Where is your business going? You may be saying, okay, well, I've just, started business. Just see yourself as a small entrepreneur or a small business owner. But think bigger than just today. Think bigger than just where you are right now, and have a vision for your business. What is it that you are trying to achieve? Because vision is so important. And I always say to clients, don't mistake vision for just a big goal. Okay, let me tell you a little bit more about that and explain why I say that. Losing weight may be a goal. You might want to lose weight. But unless that is attached to something bigger, like a healthier lifestyle or something like that, the likelihood is that you're gonna not lose weight. You're gonna keep eating, or not do the things that you need to lose that weight. It has to be attached to something bigger. And that's why having a vision, a strong vision statement, a strong vision for your business is so important. because it has to be attached to something bigger. It's more than just today. In order to be successful, you have to have a strong and a clear vision. That's what successful businesses have. Why? Why? Because it helps you to focus. Having a strong vision helps you to focus, that you are not swayed. Successful entrepreneurs are not easily swayed. Not every opportunity that presents itself is the right opportunity for you. Does it align with your purpose, and is it part of your vision? Is it aligned with your vision? Is it going to take you where you're trying to get to? You've got to learn how to focus, and that's what successful entrepreneurs know how to do, is to focus, because they're very clear about their vision. It also gives them direction. So that joint with that, focus and direction. You get in a car, the reason that we have a GPS or a sat nav is to give us direction to where we're going. And having your vision helps to direct you and keep you on course. It also creates legacy. And that's what I was saying about having something bigger than just where you are. You might see yourself as very small at the moment, but what legacy are you trying to create? What legacy are you leaving? Have a vision that outlives you. That's what business, when you look at, look at some business vision statements, it's a vision that outlives just the founder or the CEO. Dream big, dig deeper. That's what I always say to clients, and I work with my clients in order to dig deep, to create a vision for their business, in order to make sure that they, and to ensure success. It gives you the right footing for success. And with that, so you have your purpose, you have a strong vision. The two are aligned. Zig Ziglar said, if you want to reach a goal, you must see the reaching in your own mind before you actually arrive at your goal. So see it. See your vision. See yourself, see the business. Because when you start seeing it, you start visualizing, it does something, even subconsciously, to keep us on track. The visual faculty of our mind is amazing. When you think about that, so have you ever had the experience, you might have bought a car or something, you've bought a car, a red car, and you leave the lot, and everywhere you look, there are red cars. You just start seeing these red cars. It's not because there are any more red cars on the road. It's literally because something has happened. It's become your focus, because what we focus on expands. You might have heard that. So it's done something, it's brought it to your attention, it's at the forefront of your mind. So when you have a vision for your business and that's at the forefront of your mind, you start focusing, and then your actions will follow. But action is the key. And that takes us on to the next point. It's about pursuit and having a clear mission statement. Because having a purpose and having visualizing and all of that is wonderful, but you need to put in the work. How are you going to make your vision a reality? How is it going to come to pass? What do you need to do in order to reach your vision and to live out your purpose? And why is it important? It helps, having a clear mission statement helps with decision making. So when you have, you know your purpose, your vision, and I always say you can look at your purpose as your why you're doing, your vision as your what is it that you're trying to achieve, and now your mission, you're pursuing how are you going to do it? So why, what, how are you going to do it? And how, when you have your mission statement and how you're going to do that, it helps with your decision making. So like I said, so Melissa's going to be talking about marketing and give us some really good tips there, and Royston on money management, and it will help you. So even knowing your mission will help with your marketing efforts, because you're going to know how to market, because you know your mission, you know what you're trying to achieve. So also going to help to prioritize your resources and you're managing your money. So you can see how all of this is interlinked. These three topics, even what we're talking about tonight, mindset, marketing, and money management, are all linked. So your decision making, and also productivity, which is key. Complaining that you're not being productive, or procrastination comes with maybe not having a clear mission. If you find yourself procrastinating, maybe you need to look again at your mission, or make sure that you have a mission if you don't have a mission statement already for your business. So that's key. Decision making and productivity. I saw this quote, which I thought was just amazing. The difference between goals and mission is reflected in the difference between I want to get married and I want to have a successful marriage. So the goal or your vision, you might want to get married, but your mission is to have a successful marriage. So you're going to put in the work in order to make your marriage successful. Yeah. So it's just an illustration of how the work that you need to put in order to realize your vision and walk out and live in your purpose. So let's look at some examples, because I can talk to you about all of the theory, but let's see some of these in practice. So we're looking here at vision statements and mission statements. Amazon, I am sure everybody knows Amazon. We've been in lockdown, I'm sure. Well, I know I've spent a lot on Amazon. So let's look at the vision of Amazon, their vision statement. To be Earth's most customer-centric company where customers can find and discover anything they might want to buy online. That is their vision. That is what they're trying to achieve, to be Earth's most customer-centric company, yeah? Where we, the customers, can find and discover anything. That's the vision. How are they going to do that? What's their mission? We strive to offer our customers the lowest possible prices, the best available selection, and the utmost convenience. That's how they're going to do it. So they're going to become the Earth's most customer-centric company by giving us lower prices and make sure and convenience. Yeah. Amazon. Google. Vision, to provide access to the world's information in one click. How are they going to do that? Mission, to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. So you can see how what they're trying to achieve, how they're going to do it. And TED, if you've heard of TED Talks, TEDx Talks, I think this one is amazing. Their vision: we believe passionately in the power of ideas to change attitudes, lives, and ultimately the world. That's their vision, that ideas, that they will change the attitude of the world, the lives and the world. They'll change that through the power of ideas. So how are they going to do that? By spreading ideas. So do you see how the vision and the mission are interlinked, and why it's so important? It gives direction. So now everything that TED does, the organization, everything it's with spreading ideas in mind. So everything they do, every event they put on, is with the ultimate aim to spread ideas, because they believe that ideas are going to change lives and ultimately the world. So can you see how important having a strong vision and mission statement is for your business? It's key, because it directs everything else. So actually, do you have a vision statement and a mission statement for your business? A strong vision and mission statement? And do you understand your purpose? If you don't, if you'd like more information and help with doing so, obviously time won't allow me to go any further, but my other great speakers coming on. And so if you'd like to understand more about mindset, about anything I've spoken about, purpose, vision, mission, or any of the other steps around motivation and messaging, etc., then I'm offering a free consultation call. What I'll do is I'll drop the link to book a call. It's free, so we can speak further. Now, I always say I work with implementers. I work with people who really are passionate, female entrepreneurs who are passionate about taking their business to the next level. So if that's you, if you're ready to put in the work, then please do book a call, and I'll put the link in the chat. And so those are my details, but these will also come at the end as well. But do feel free to connect with me, LinkedIn, Instagram, and my website is also there. So this time I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to come back. And hand over to Melissa, who's going to speak to us about marketing.
Thank you, Simone. Thank you. Oh, I'll just bear with me. Yeah, thank you, Simone. So one of the things that really stood out to me when you said everything has been created for a purpose, and you gave the example of a chair, and funnily enough, I began to think about the chair in my bedroom. and how it's accumulated lots of clothes and it's not actually fulfilling the purpose that it was set out for. However, how many businesses have a strong purpose and then deviate away from it because they're not staying focused on the end goal? So that's what I got from your one of the things that really stood out for me. So thank you for sharing. I'm just going to share my screen with you. So as we go into the next section now, which is focusing on marketing your business for more success. Right. So who am I? You may be wondering, for those who don't know me. So my name is Melissa Shervington, and I've been in business for the last 12 years now. My journey really started out in property related business, community engagement, and that quickly led into training and consultancy. So I've been an international trainer for the last 10 years. I've also had commercial businesses, the last one being an estate agency business, which I started, scaled and sold in December 2019 to really fulfill my purpose, as Simone has said. And as Simone said, when you're in your purpose, you operate and you flow in ease. And one of the things that I always really relate purpose to being, it's like being a fish in water. So when you're in your purpose, you swim naturally. And that is the direction in which I knew that I had to be in alignment with my purpose. So now I spend my time working with entrepreneurs, particularly helping entrepreneurs to really be in a position where their business is serving them and they're not serving their business. One of the things that I often see with entrepreneurs and small business owners is they start their business with a passion. As entrepreneurs, we're very passionate people. We're innovative, we're creative. We start out with a passion. We launch a business, and before you know it, you're stuck inside of that business because you're busy serving your clients, serving your team, serving your stakeholders, and often neglecting yourselves in the process. So I work with entrepreneurs to help them to achieve more profit, but more importantly, more freedom, and whatever that freedom means to them. I've suffered burnout along my journey, juggling businesses, being non-stop 100 miles an hour. So I help my clients to avoid really hitting that wall as I did. That for me was my turning point, and which really catapulted me into my true purpose. So I'll share more about you with as we go through. So quick outcomes from the session that I'll be delivering with you for the next 20 minutes or so. So one is defining your business purpose, which Simone has already touched on, your personal purpose. Now we're going to delve a little bit deeper and look at, well, what does that mean for your business? Identifying your market segment. So who are you serving? Which segment of the market are your products and your services really targeting and serving? So we're going to dive into that deeper. And how are you communicating your solution? So what do I mean by solution? Your solution is what your products or your service should be a solution to a potential problem that a prospective client may be suffering from. So how are you effectively communicating your solution to your prospective clients? So before we go through, just a quick overview of my system. So this is the Elevated Entrepreneurs Solution, and you can see firmly at the bottom, the foundation of this system is purpose. So I cannot echo any more than Simone already has about the importance of your purpose. So my system starts with purpose, which is all about you, your end goal, your vision, where you fit in, how it's aligned with your business purpose, and it ends in paradise. And paradise is really, as I said, it's ultimately your freedom. So for some entrepreneurs, they come to me and they say, actually, I want to be lying on a beach and hear my phone ping. And every time I hear that ping, that's a sale. So that is a real hands-off business where the entrepreneur has really built a business that is serving them. Some entrepreneurs say, actually, I'm really passionate about my business. So I want to be involved, but I just don't want to be caught up doing the admin, doing the business development, doing the finance, and doing every aspect, which is what happens to a lot of entrepreneurs. So I work with entrepreneurs to really define what the end goal is, and then work through a 7-step process to ensure that they reach their point of paradise. And in doing so, they're achieving more profit and more freedom. So each step has its own system, and each system consists of several modules. So there's 67 modules in total, Obviously, we don't have time today to go through every single module, so we will be scratching the surface of 3 of those, and that is within the positioning step. So positioning is all about how are you positioning yourself in the marketplace for more success. And the system that I have under that step is the powerful positioning framework. So what is market positioning? What do I mean when I say market positioning? One of the definitions is the process of establishing the image of your brand or your products that your customers perceive it in a certain way. So in essence, it's about how are your prospective customers and clients perceiving you and your business brand? Are you communicating that effectively? Does it make sense to them? Are they attracted to that? And are you speaking to the right people in all of your marketing? So just a couple of examples. Tesla, and I will have one of these, it's on my vision board. So Tesla is fairly new to the market. Tesla produce and manufacture electric vehicles. American company, launched in 2003, so they've not been on the market for very long. However, in the short space of time they've really disrupted the marketplace. So just to ask you and get a little bit of interaction from you all now, what do you think of when you think of the brand Tesla? What are the things that come to mind when you think of Tesla? I can't actually see the chat box for some reason, so okay. Say that again, Simone.
Expensive. Someone's written expensive.
Expensive, yeah, most definitely.
Stylish.
Stylish. Anything else? What do you think of when you think of Tesla?
Luxury.
Yeah, luxury and business person. Exclusive.
Exclusive, luxury, stylish, and most definitely expensive. So Tesla are one of those brands, they do not promote their products. You won't find a Tesla in a car showroom. They don't have big marketing campaigns. You won't see advertising very much from Tesla. So they have a very unique way of marketing their products. They are most definitely a luxury brand with a high price ticket. It's like when you go to a department store, for example, Selfridges, and you go to the top floor and you know you're in the luxury end of that store, and you may not see a price tag on the product that you pick up. So it could be a handbag and you look at it, you fall in love with it until you ask the price and then you nearly fall over. That's not us, because we're successful entrepreneurs with lots of profit. But yes, so Tesla is one of those brands that really withhold their price because they're marketing to a clientele who are not driven by price. They're marketing to a segment of the market who are driven by luxury, who are driven by more than the price of that product. So they're very clever in the way. So for example, they will have campaigns within supermarkets where they know they're attracting the type of clientele that they want. They use marketing campaigns in very, very innovative ways. Another brand, very well-known brand, Apple. So similarly, Apple are positioning themselves as a luxury brand. Apple's strategy, they have purposely priced their products higher in comparison to most of their competitors, because one of the things they don't want to do is compete on price. And they're very clever in the way they do that. I'm definitely an Apple user. However, I will say that I don't think they're the best in terms of their technology and their products. However, what they offer me is simplicity. And that's what's attracted me to Apple. They appeal to a certain segment of the market through their marketing, but it's not based on price, similar to Tesla. So I'm sharing these examples with you for you to think about with your products and services. What is it that you want to be known for, and how do you want to be perceived? Is it based on price? Is it based on the fact that you're a luxury product? Is it based on an age category? What is it? Just start thinking about those things as we go through. You see, as entrepreneurs, you want your prospective customers to get it, which means you have to be clear in how are you marketing and how you're communicating your products and services. You want your prospective customers to buy it, ultimately. You want sales. And you want your prospective customers to love it. If you agree with me, type me a yes in the chat box if you agree with me. These are the 3 things that you want your prospective customers to do. Now, if we look at Tesla again as an example, part of their marketing and their campaigns is to turn their customers into lifelong fans. So word of mouth is one of the most powerful forms of marketing. And the way that Tesla do it is they turn their customers into raving fans. So they go and tell a friend who tells a friend who tells a friend. So in essence, they're marketing their products for them. So what is it about your products and your services that you can really tap into and engage with the hearts of your clients to get them to fall in love with your brand? So within the positioning, the powerful positioning framework, which I've mentioned, there are 5 modules. There was significance, which is about how significant your brand is in the marketplace. Segment, which is which segments of the market you are actually targeting and being clear on that. Solution, so that is what solution are you offering to the problems that your prospective clients are facing. Serve, how are you serving your clients? Many businesses focus on selling, and the reality is nobody likes being sold to. So the key is it's to serve your clients before you try and sell to your clients. Showcase is all about your marketing campaigns. Now, I wish I could go through all 5 of these with you today, but unfortunately I can't. So we're going to focus on the top 3, the first one being significance. So when we think about significance, I want you to think for a moment about your products and services. What is the purpose of your product and service? Now, Simone talked about purpose in terms of your mindset and your personal purpose, and then she touched on your vision and your mission. But now I want you to really dissect that further and deep dive into your products and services and think, what is the purpose behind them? Because the most successful businesses you will find are not focused solely on profit. The most successful businesses out there have a strong campaign around the purpose. Now, again, using the Tesla example, they produce electric vehicles because they're committed to reducing carbon monoxide, CO2 emissions. There's a huge campaign around that at the moment. So for anybody who's environmentally friendly and driven by that and really cares about the environment, then they're going to tap into the purpose behind Tesla's brand, which is to really make less impact on polluting the environment by producing electric cars. So what is the purpose behind your products and services? What will you be known for? What is your USP, your unique selling proposition, also known as your unique selling point? What is it that's unique about you? And why will your prospective clients choose you over your competitors? And how will you communicate this? This is an area that many entrepreneurs struggle in. They get the top 2 right, and then they struggle to communicate that effectively within the marketplace. So that's what we're going to be deep diving into now. So let's look at another example, the Body Shop. Now, the Body Shop produce products for face, hair, body. And part of their purpose statement is, this is extracted from their website, they create products that promote environmental sustainability and enrich biodiversity, i.e. animals and the environment. So the purpose behind, although the Body Shop are known for the products they sell, and they have some lush soaps and creams, and some of my favorite products come from the Body Shop. But when a client is purchasing a product from the Body Shop, it's very likely that it's in alignment with their personal purpose. If you are someone who cares about animals and is totally against testing products on animals, then you will go to the Body Shop over many other brands because that's in alignment with your purpose. So the purpose behind the brand of the Body Shop carries more weight than the products themselves because they're really tapping into the purpose behind the individuals who they're targeting. Another example, I chose the peanut ones because they're my favorites, but M&M's. So M&M's USP, so this is their unique sales proposition. They say the milk chocolate melts in your mouth and not your hand. Now, this is a clever way of not only really positioning their marketing in a fun and a quirky way, but it's also saying subtly our competitors' chocolate melts in your hands, ours won't. You know, it's a very, very subtle way of doing so, and there is fun in it. So potentially somebody seeing that who's an avid chocolate lover, I'm more of a savoury person, so this doesn't really reach out to me. However, I do love the peanut M&Ms. That would make me choose a packet of the M&Ms over another chocolate product, because I'm thinking if I'm out and about, the last thing I want is chocolate melting in my hands. As simple as it is, it's highly effective. That is how they are setting themselves apart from their competitors. So when you think about that, what is your USP? How are you setting your brand, your products, your services apart from that of your customers? Domino's Pizza, they say, you get fresh hot pizza delivered to your door in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. A very compelling USP. Now that Domino's came to the market and disrupted it and became the #1 in pizza sales in the USA very quickly, solely based, well, not solely, but one of the main drivers was their USP and their statement. Naturally, people wanted to put them to the test. If they don't come in 30 minutes, it's free. But it's hot and it's fresh pizza delivered to your door. They're saying exactly what they do and how they differ to their competitors. So if you've experienced late delivery from another pizza company, naturally you're going to navigate over to Domino's because they're guaranteeing you that. So what can you have as your USP that's going to be compelling and set you apart? Your communication. So Uber say that they are the smartest way to get around town. I can't actually see my screen, sorry, this is a bit difficult, but bear with me. One tap and the car comes straight to you. Your driver knows exactly where to go, and payment is completely cashless. So what are they saying? Again, subtly talking against their competitors. If you know that their competitors are your traditional taxi, where you need to actually call a taxi, tell them where you are. Often if you're away for the weekend or you've been out after work and having drinks with your colleagues, you may not know where you are by that point. How do you then communicate that to the taxi rank? And then do you even have a number for the taxi rank? So they're taking away all of that complexity by telling you one tap and your driver comes directly to you. They're communicating it very simply, but very effectively, and telling you exactly what they do. How clear is your communication to your prospective clients? Does it speak with clarity? Is it simple? Simplicity sells. Fast, reliable, and hassle-free is their motto, and they live up to that to a degree. So the next, that's significance and how significant you are in the marketplace. So let's talk about segments. So what do I mean by segments? And that is how you are targeting the segment of the market that you are operating within. So there's a few different theories, but overall there are 4 key different segments within the marketplace, as we can see in that diagram. The first one being demographic. So what do I mean by demographic? So that is, are you targeting, is it males or females? What age are they? Are you targeting married or single people? Are you targeting people from a specific religion, a specific ethnicity? That is being clear on exactly who you are targeting, because once you're clear on who that person is, all of your messages in your marketing is speaking directly to that person, but you have to first know who you're targeting. Secondly, psychographics. So this is another layer. If anybody's come across when you see iceberg models, what's above the waterline is what's visible, what's beneath it is what's not. So the things that are above the waterline are the demographics. You can clearly see if somebody's male, female, you can gauge their age, etc. But psychographic is deeper, because now we're looking at your values, your beliefs, your morals. So for example, with the Body Shop, they may well target people who hold beliefs against animal cruelty. They will target people who have a strong affiliation to being environmentally friendly. So their marketing is really speaking to that group of people, because they know that these are the psychographic characteristics of their ideal clients. Next, we have behavioral. So this is looking at things like your buying habits. So many of us have Tesco's club cards or a Boots loyalty card. And we often go into stores and we use our cards because we're thinking, you know, points, let them add up. I love boots at Christmas because I've generally got a few £100s to spend on aftershave and perfumes with all the boots shopping throughout the year. But these are the things that keep customers coming back. But what are these cards doing? They're monitoring your purchasing habits. So if you look at Tesco's, for example, you may go into Tesco's, and if you have an animal, you may buy cat food regularly. You may go to Tesco's and regularly purchase a specific type of fish or meat. Whatever it is, they are monitoring your buying habits. So when you then receive coupons through the post, they're giving you coupons for exactly the things that you would want to buy, which inevitably is going to bring you back to store. So we often think, oh, these are great, you know, added value things that they're giving us, but actually it's for monitoring purposes, and then they'll resell that data to other companies who will target you for the similar products and services. So all of these things are really important from a marketing perspective to understand the behavioral aspects of your potential clients and customers. Lastly, geographic. This is probably the easiest one of all, because this is looking at where are your prospective clients geographically. Now that could be based on street, it could be based on area, city, country, it could be split on rural and city. So you may want, well, urban and rural. So for example, if you sell firewood and you're a firewood supplier, you would most likely target people living in a rural area as opposed to an urban area, because urban areas will consist of apartment blocks, for example. I don't think many people in an apartment will have an open fire or a fire burner, so you won't do well with your sales. So naturally you will target people who are living in a rural or at least a semi-rural location. It goes the same for your products and services. It's very important that you understand each element and each segment of the market, and you know clearly who you're speaking to, because once you know this, then you can craft your messages to be more effective. I see far too many entrepreneurs just mass marketing, and they're throwing their content out there to everybody and then wondering why they're attracting the wrong people. There's nothing wrong than attracting the wrong clients to your business. It's harder to get rid of the wrong clients than it is to attract the right. So it's all about segmenting effectively. Quick example, Apple, they target 22 to 55-year-olds. So very clear on who they're targeting and who they're speaking to, male and female. Medium to high income earners, because their products are not, you know, the cheapest on the market. As I said, they do not compete on price. So naturally, you need to be earning a certain amount to be able to afford their products. They target people who are modern and people who are open to change, because they're an innovative, evolving business. So they want their clients to become lifelong clients. So in order for that to happen, their clients have to be in alignment with who they are and what they stand for, which is ever evolving, innovative, and being modern. So as I've delivered that to you, I just want you to think about who are you targeting, and make some notes if anything's coming to you, but really get clear on who it is. And then the next step from this, which we don't have time to do, is really give those people or that person a name. And everything you do, you're talking to them. When I had an estate agency business, our ideal clients in the segment we were targeting were Charles and Georgina. We knew exactly. They were 45 and 46, drove a Range Rover and a Mercedes, shopped in Waitrose, Laura Ashley wallpaper in the master bedroom. To the T, I knew who my clients were. So I would always say to my team, if they had an idea, I'd say, what would Charles and Georgina think of that? And that would give them the answer. Is it in alignment with who we're targeting? Always ask yourself that question. And finally, solution. So this is all about really clarifying and communicating the problems that you are solving for your customers. How effectively, one, have you identified their problems? And two, how effectively are you clarifying and communicating those problems? And what value are you bringing? What value are you bringing to your prospective customers? So what do I mean by value? What added value are you giving beyond your products and services? And I'll explain very quickly as I'm conscious of time. Quick example, Uber. So As we said before, Uber they're solving a problem of people being stranded and waiting for a taxi and having to potentially Google or ask for phone numbers. They may not have cash on them to pay the taxi. So they're stripping all of those problems away and providing a solution that says, we are fast, we are reliable, we are easy, you don't need cash. That's their solution. Dropbox came about because sending large files by emails, difficult, that's a problem that a potential client may have. Dropbox created a forum whereby you could overcome that by using their software. Airbnb have disrupted the marketplace massively. If you're a large group looking to book a hotel for a weekend, for example, in 2 weeks, there's 12 of us going away for the weekend. Now that would potentially be 6 rooms in a hotel, very costly. Airbnb have provided a platform where you can easily book accommodation for large groups of people at ease. Lastly, for those of you who like to swipe left, Tinder came about to really provide a platform where you could meet prospective husbands, wives, partners, whatever you want to put it as. But they came and provided a solution to people who were struggling to meet people, struggling, especially in lockdown where everywhere's closed and you don't get out. So what value are you adding? And I'm going to end here. There's 3 levels of value. A free offer. So what can you offer as added value that's free, that's not going to cost you much? Could it be a newsletter? Could it be a podcast? What can you offer that isn't going to cost you anything but will add value to your prospective clients? Complimentary offer is something that will have a small cost attached to it. Quick example, running an estate agency business, one of the things I would do, number 1, free offer. I had a couple of ebooks which help people to understand the whole process of selling your home. So that was a free offer that I gave, and that was adding value to my prospective clients because no other estate agent was doing that. Complimentary offer, we used to home style and home stage for a small fee, just covering the cost, which meant that their homes were marketed and showcased in the best possible way. Again, added value that my competitors weren't offering. And then the high value offer is what comes in, which is actually your product or service. So in my case, that would be selling the home. That's where my fee, if I'm selling a home at £1 million and charging 1.5%, we're talking £15,000. Could I go straight in at the beginning and say, we charge £15,000, but we do exactly what all the other agents do? Why would I be any different? But I attracted clients because I gave them different levels of value throughout the service. So I'm really encouraging you to really think about what levels of value can you offer? Where can you really up your offers? How can you be different and stand out from your competitors? Because this is what's going to attract the right clients to you once you've identified who they are, what their problems are, what your solution is, and how you can add value. So that was it, a quick overview. So this is the Elevated Entrepreneur Solution. I am offering to all of you on the call the opportunity to, if you qualify, to book a 90-minute strategy call with me, which I'll tell you more about at the end of the presentation. As you can see on the scale, profit is very, very crucial, the last step towards ultimate freedom. And that is something that Royston is going to be talking us through shortly in a moment, money management. So I'd just like to thank you for your time. They're my social media and website links, and we'll share these with you again at the end. So thank you for listening. Just bear in mind that unless you know who you're talking to and what problems they have, you are potentially not attracting the right clients. If you want to make more profit, then stay on the call because Royston's going to tell you how now. Thank you.
Wow, that's quite a bit. Thank you very much for everyone who have actually stayed on till this time. I can see everyone is still on, and that's some great content. Even though I work with these people every week, you know, I still learn quite a bit. So I hope you learn quite a bit as well. And as we said earlier, if you have questions, please pop those questions in the chat box, because at the end of my session, we'll be taking some questions as well, because obviously, hopefully you can get something answered, something that you really have a burning question. I think there are a couple of questions already. But look, I know that you've been on for a while, and so what I'm going to do, I am going to share my screen, and I'm going to immediately get this thing moving, yeah? So thank you again, as I said, for joining, and thank you also for staying on till the end. So, right, so let me get this going. Okay, so hopefully you can all see my screen, and I am going to start from the beginning. Oh, great. So this topic, money management, and I guess some of you are very interested in the topic of money management, right, for business success. Because here is the thing. In business, you have to have that mission, you have to have that vision, right? And that's crucial. As a matter of fact, you have to have the mindset to be successful in business. That's very crucial. Once you have that mindset, you then obviously have to have that marketing. Who is your target avatar, as Melissa said, and you have to go out there and actually give them value. Because actually, what's money, by the way? What is money? What is money? For some of you who are on this call, can you please put in the chat box what you think money is in probably just a few words? What is money? Yeah. And while you're doing that, I just want to tell you, right, that money is a store of value. Money is a store of value. And there's a few people, there's a few comments coming in, but there are a few people who says, right, that, the amount of money that you have right now is probably is equal to the amount of value that you are given. Literally, the amount of value that you give into society, or the amount of value that you give into, your employer. That's equivalent to the amount of money you have. And in reality, if you are very valuable to an employer, right, they'll pay you more. If your products and services are very valuable to somebody, they pay more for it. So as Melissa showed earlier, Tesla, I guess it's valuable. It's a prestige car. It's a luxury, right? So they can charge you more for it. So that's really money. But the management of the money is like saying, what is money management? What is money management? If you can please put as well what you think money management is, yeah? But while you put in that, I will tell you, money management is handling all aspects of your finance. And when we say all aspects, it's from like the budgeting of the finance, knowing exactly where your money is going every month, yeah? And then obviously, once you're in business, you have to really account for that money, because that money is obviously hard to come by sometimes, right? But you have to know exactly where the money is coming from as well, yeah? Who is giving you the money? And what you have to do as well, the clients that are giving you the most money, you want to retain them. Oftentimes in business, a lot of people try to go out and try to go after new customers. But if you know the customers that are more valuable to you, the ones who is giving you that money, then you obviously try to keep them in, right? So money is a store of value, and it's all aspects from budgeting down to investing. Obviously having long-term goals for your money, yeah? You want your money to grow, isn't it, And obviously money doesn't grow on trees, right? So you got to plant the money somewhere for it to grow, and there's different things that you can plant it in. So I'll be telling you a bit about that. But look, I know I started quite quickly. That's my style. I try to be energetic. And so just a bit more about me, Royston Cumberbatch. Normally I use my full name, Royston Andrew Cumberbatch, But look, I want to tell you this, right? In my early 20s, I failed. I had failed big, originally from Grenada, but yeah, I had a good education. And then went to Canada, I failed big. And I went back and I started my first business, I would say, in my 20s. Literally started doing some farming, and I started doing some evening classes as well, teaching people accounts, teaching people business. And that really kind of gave me a taste for what it's like to really help people, because I've helped hundreds of business owners, entrepreneurs, people who just wanted to know more about business and finance. And then I got a job eventually because I had a good background in a hotel. And I was quite inspired by the chief accountant. She had all the benefits. She had a great life. So I decided I want to become a qualified accountant. So in 1997, I came to the UK with £10,000 in traveler's checks. Not enough money for the journey I'm on, but I'm here and I'm here to study. And that, just actually being here as a student was a lesson in money management for me. It was literally a lesson in money management, because I had to really budget. I had to really control my money, but I had a vision. I had a vision for where I would probably do after I qualify. And eventually I qualified. I got my first job in financial services. Obviously, I had a few side jobs, had a few hustles here and there. And I've been in financial services for 19 years. But halfway through that, around 10 years ago, I actually set up my own firm. I set up my own firm to help entrepreneurs, help business owners, people who wants to understand more about, business and finance and how to make money, how to manage money. So I've done a lot of work in the area of investing. I've done a lot of work in the area of helping people to save taxes. Yeah. And matter of fact, my first role in the city was expenses and cash management accountant. So I think I'm very much qualified to speak to you today about money management. I myself I have invested as well in assets like on the stock market, stock exchange, funds. I've invested in properties, etc. And it's something I can talk to you a bit more as we go on. So look, what outcomes can you expect from this session? Well, I guess you already realize that the topic is money management. And money management, by the way, is also, some people call it cash flow management. I say cash flow management is just an aspect of money management. But however, you would learn how to manage your money, how to manage your business money. Yeah. And look, some people say money is not everything. Money is not everything. You're in business. You're in business to make profit. Yes. And as Melissa said, you're in business to make profit. And as her system and my system as well talks about how to make profit. But ultimately, the reason you're in business is to make more money. Obviously to serve people as well, but you want to make something for yourself, right? Unless you set up a charity. Matter of fact, even churches make money. So Zig Ziglar, and we obviously quoted him a couple of times today, he said, money is not everything. It's not everything, but it's right up there with oxygen. We just can't do without it. As a matter of fact, in business, when you actually run out of money, you run out of business. Is the end of the game for you. And there are some big businesses, big brands that have fallen through poor money management. I mean, for people in the UK, they might remember Blockbuster or Toys R Us. Blockbuster, by the way, guys, Blockbuster had like 84, and they had almost 100,000 employees. And they had like 9,000 stores, and still they went bankrupt, and there was 900 million in debt. And that's what I'm trying to say to you, right? You can make a lot of money, you can have a lot of money, but if you don't manage that money, you're going to collapse. So Blockbuster went out of business. They fell to the sword of Netflix. You might have heard of them, right? Netflix. Well, Netflix came on the line and Blockbuster went off the line. Toys R Us, by the way, they used to have some great ads when you were a kid. I mean, I wasn't a kid in the UK, but that's what I heard. But how the older you got, those ads got annoying. So every Christmas, I actually brought my son to Toys R Us. Matter of fact, I still have a tractor in my garden for my son who's now 21. They sold very good toys, but they went out of business because they didn't pay the taxes. They had 15 million in unpaid taxes in 2018. And here's the thing. When they went out of business, they left a 4 billion gap, i.e. the sales, the people, the demand for the services was in the quantum of 4 billion. So if they had managed their money properly, there would be a multi-billion company. And that's just trying to show you how money is so important. One of the biggest fraud, the biggest corruption that ever happened due to money management is from a company called Enron. You might have heard of them. Yeah, even if you haven't heard of them, you can Google them. Yeah, basically they just were hiding stuff, and they had failed projects, and they had from lots of employees. I think from 29,000 employees, 100 billion in revenue, and in that same year they went bankrupt. They literally went bankrupt. So I'm just trying to bring this to life to you, that money management is really important. Yeah. So look, here's the thing. I don't just focus on money management, and you don't just get to manage money. You have to make money first, right? So here is my blueprint. And my blueprint is around the profitable business blueprint, because although money is really what we after, you also want to have a profitable business. Basically, you want to make sure that, you know, the money you're getting in, the income, is more than your expenses. That's when you get some profit, yeah? And you also want to make sure you pay yourself first. I call it profit first system, yeah? So when you look at my module, it starts with motive, yeah? If you follow like the gray, from the lighter gray to the darker gray, that's where the model actually start. So motive is kind of your why, your mindset, you know, that whole purpose that Simone talked about. And I cover a lot of that in that. It gives you more drive. Also your mission vision, I cover that as well. It's so important to have that, you know, even your marketing strategy, because that's your why, yeah? And then the whole manage is basically understanding money, because it's very important to understand money. A lot of people I've actually found, they don't understand money. They use money every day, but they don't understand money, you know. And when you're in business, as an entrepreneur, business owner, you should not just leave the money management to your accountant. That's kind of a false belief that entrepreneurs have. That, yeah, I just focus on the creative side, the sexy side of the business, you know, meeting the customers, you know, creating new ideas, and my accountant is going to manage the money. And oftentimes what happens is that if you cannot manage the person who is managing your money, it's a recipe for disaster. So I make sure that I cover that in manage, you know. And monitor is really understanding, you know, understanding, are you performing, are you hitting your targets, right? Because in business, you can have all the mission, all the vision, all the goals, but you have to monitor where you are against these goals. And multiply is really with marketing, value proposition. And today I'm talking to you only about one system in my whole blueprint, which is money, yeah? Because money goes with mindset and marketing, right? So I'm talking to you about money today. So we're gonna dive in a bit deeper into the money module. And basically this is, you can call this my table of contents for my system for money, yeah? It's spelled prediction, yeah? And it's something that you can actually write down, because I'll be going through this, you know, prediction, you know, you have to be able to predict your money, yes, you know, and that's very important. So let's get straight into this. Yeah, I know I've given you some nuggets already, but conscious of time, I'm going to go quickly. Do take notes, do ask questions at the end. Yeah, great. So predictions. So I'll be going through each of these in turn. Yeah. So the first one is payables, payments and receivables. See, oftentimes people think about just the revenue, making the money, and they forget that they also have to pay goods as well. They have to pay for goods and services, you know, because depending on what kind of business you're in, you know, you don't just, obviously, if you're in a service business, you still got to pay, like, you know, for, I don't know, for the platforms you're using. You have to pay for, you know, for advertising or marketing spend, you know. If you in a sort of a beauty business, or in a business where you're selling organic goods and services, or whatever it is, even if you are a tradesman, you have got to buy tools, etc., right? And sometimes you buy those on credit. You buy those on credit. And when you buy them on credit, it's very important to negotiate with suppliers that you can pay them in the future. You know, that's what clever businesses do. You know, so you negotiate how you can get it on credit rather than paying cash up front. Because if you pay cash up front, that's like bleeding the money. I always say to people, like, cash flow is like a bath. You know, like a big bath. You know, all the water coming in is like the money. So when you open the tap and the water is coming in, that's the inflow. And you know, if it has a hole in it, or you actually remove the stopcock and the water is flowing out, that's the outflow. So I want to be talking to you about inflows and outflows. And I'm saying to you that payments and payables are basically outflows, and you want to minimize those, of course, yeah? Because to really have more money, you want to maximize the inflows, minimize the inflows. So you must negotiate. Another thing, never miss a payment, yeah? So some people, for example, even taxes, or even someone bill them, they forget to actually, you know, pay them, and they get a penalty. that's just like almost like throwing the money in the bin. Yeah. So money management, you have to really understand who you owe and pay them on time. That's important. And most essentially, I would say is that anybody, all the revenue you make, you want to account for it. Because if you make a sale, you want to try and collect it on cash. You see, the reverse is that when you're making sales, you want to collect it on cash. So let's take Amazon. I love Amazon model. I love Amazon model because before you even get the goods, before you even arrive, yeah, obviously you see it online. You have to take out your credit card and pay for it. Yeah. And some people, I do business with them, and I said to them, look, you got to pay up front. And they goes, oh, why is that? Well, it's obviously I've given value first normally, and I give them great value first, but I know I extend to pay as well for the value I'm going to give them in the future. So how are you running your business? How do you run your business? Do you run your business where you give everything on credit, or do you say you collect all the money up front? I remember back home in the Caribbean, I used to go into shops. I never used to understand what it actually mean. I used to have this sign up, no credit here, or no credit sold here. I guess they can't have that now because obviously credit is now like for your phone, etc. But they used to have that, no IOU. I think in business it's very important that you track and you understand all the people who you sell on credit, because in the reality is that to make things affordable for people, you have to put it in installments. And by putting it in installments, you have to track it. And when someone owes you, that becomes a receivable. It's an asset, yeah? And you have to have a debtor's ledger, a file. Obviously, not necessarily a file like this. It will be in a computer. And there are many systems that you can use, by the way. There are many tools you can use, like, for example, like QuickBooks, yeah? Or Sage if you're more advanced business. You have to have, the right software to track all this. It tracks it for you. You know what I mean? And when we get on to expenses, yeah? Expenses is obviously money going onto the business. And some businesses leak money. They leak money because they're paying for stuff that they're not using. I mean, even people who are not even in business, they subscribe to stuff that they don't even use, and they have certain operating expenses. Maybe they have employees that are not even actually being productive. So it's very important, yeah, that, you have a budget. You understand exactly what you're paying for, but most importantly, that expense is giving you some value, right? And again, you want to track it. And sometimes in business, what happens is that entrepreneurs and business owners, they pay for stuff from their pocket. They buy petrol for the vehicle, or they just, they go to a shop and they see something, they just buy it, And that money, if you don't take it back from the business, then obviously that's you leaking money, So, the business and you are separate entities, and that's very important to understand, yeah? The business is actually a separate human being in itself, like a separate, has its own rights, yeah? So, it's very important that when you spend money on behalf of the business, that you get your money back. But to control your expenses, as I said, budget is very important. Don't just set the budget, control the budget. Yeah, monitor the budget. How did you do against the budget? Adjust the budget. We call that budgetary control. Yeah, and it's something that I help my clients with. I actually help them to set up the system as well, and so to train them on this. And obviously, you might think, okay, that's for your accountant, but you have to set the budget for your business. It's your business. See, lots of time people says, and I'm going back on this. People says, oh, that's for my accountant to do. It's your business. So you set the budget, yeah? And then you monitor, is it going on track? Obviously, the accountant will do the numbers. He will give you the report, but then you have to go through and sit down with him and just saying, yeah, well, what's happening here? Is this right, So you have to be able to challenge your accountant. That is so important. And so this is an outflow, right? And obviously there's, as I said, outflow and inflow. Then dividends. It's very important to pay yourself. Pay yourself first. There's a system I wanted to talk to you about. It's called Profit First System. Yeah. Here's the thing. In business, people make money sometimes. They make a lot of money and they forget why they're in business, But with Profit First System, what you do is that you calculate upfront exactly when you get that revenue in, how much of that revenue you're going to be used to pay yourself, how much will be used to pay taxes, how much will be used to pay expenses. So I didn't say this at the outset, but I've also written a book called Money Management for Business Owners and Entrepreneurs, and it's on Amazon. And you might actually get opportunity as well to get a free copy. But in there, I talk about the profit first system as well, yeah? And so plan for this. Plan to pay yourself, you know? And that's the most important thing I want to give you here. Plan to pay yourself, but also make sure you have enough money left over after you pay yourself. You know, don't pay yourself a big fat check and then, you know, you actually run out of money. Yeah, so plan to pay yourself, but have enough money left over. Yes, and if you can see this image on the right hand side, you can see that you have to kind of water your investments, right? Which is actually coming up, right? So you have to water your investments. So once you pay yourself well, you might then even invest some of that money. Yeah, you have to invest some of that money, right? So by investing your money can grow. Yeah, somebody say, how do you grow money? But the way you grow money or the way you multiply money is that you invest it. Where can you invest? Well, it's based on your risk appetite. Yes, there's certain securities, certain assets that are more risky than some. Yes, so you have to be based on your risk appetite, based on how quick you want the return back. You have to invest. One of the fundamental things I learned from working in financial services is that insurance companies like Aviva, where I worked for quite a few years, yeah, what they do is that they collect the money up front, as I said, for called premiums. It's an insurance model. And what they do is that they invest the money. They invest the money, and even before you make a claim, they've already made a return on the money. Now, in your business, what you have to be doing is that you have to make sure you have surplus. You know, you have all the money from revenue, you have your expenses, but you need to have some surplus money, yes? And that surplus money, you want to invest it. You want to invest it in assets that can make you money. That is how you make money. We also call that leveraging, yeah? You know, and you can leverage employees as well, right? And saying that, you know, you have people work for you who help you to make you money. Yes, that's one way as well. So in business, instead of just doing everything yourself, you can also get returns, you know, get income from having people work for you. But here I'm talking about assets. I'm talking about here, like, you know, like whether in property, whether in shares, even Amazon. Here's the thing. You may not know this, but if you had invested in Netflix when it started, yes, 10 years later, if you invested $100 or £100 in Netflix when it started, 10 years later, you'd have gotten 400,000, literally, if you invested 100. Yeah. And so in business, don't just think of just making the money and spending the money. Think about how can I squeeze a portion, or how can I put away a portion to grow. And there's a lot of ways actually for doing that. And I actually help my clients to invest the money as well, wisely. Of course, first I actually help them to make the money, to manage the money, and also help them to invest the money. And then we come on to CapEx, capital expenditure. So capital expenditure is different from your normal day-to-day expenses. This is where you're going to buy a piece of machinery. You're going to buy an asset, yeah? And the purpose of buying an asset is to make money. Literally, you know, you don't buy an asset because you like it. You know, you buy an asset because you can get a return on your investments, a return on the asset, you know. So when you're in business, you know, I think about buying any, you know, whether it's a new office, whether it's a new computer, you have to ask yourself the question, how will that asset help me to make more money? Yeah, that is called money sense. You know, just having money sense, you know, money sense over common sense, you know. Don't just buy something because it looks good, you know. You understand how can it make you money. Because what you want to do, as I said, is minimize your outflows, right? So if you're going to spend something on something big, that big thing has to return you some income. Yes, and then we coming on to taxation. Now, taxation is One of my favorite topics as an accountant, because I help people to minimize tax. But for some business owners and entrepreneurs, they hate tax. They hate tax because they don't do tax planning. Yeah. If you do tax planning upfront, as a matter of fact, if you use the profit first system, which I was talking about earlier, you will know how much profit you're going to pay upfront. You will literally know that. And by knowing that, you can then put aside the money for it each month, like your VAT, your payroll, all this stuff should be planned ahead. Yeah, and that way you can minimize your tax. There's strategies as well to minimize your tax. For example, just by hiring people, by optimizing your expense, having people do the work that you normally do, so you can do what you really love, is one way of actually saving taxes. Yes, so don't just increase the expense, optimize the expense. What do I mean by that? Get the maximum return you can get from the expense, yeah? And that helps to save tax. So once you have all of these inflows and outflows, you will come to a point where you have to add up all the inflows. Yes, and they'll come from revenue, from investments, from loans, and a cash flow itself, a cash flow statement, yeah, a cash flow statement has three areas. I can't go into this in any detail now, but it has cash from operating, cash from investing, cash from financing. From operating is obviously inflows. We're talking about revenue or investing or financing, yes? And then we also have outflows. And the outflows from an operating perspective, again, is expenses or where you invest, or where you actually pay yourself some dividends, or even where you invest in an asset, as I said to you, your capital expenditure. Or if you have people who invest in your business, you have to pay them dividends. Or if you have people who give you money to finance your business, because obviously there are different ways of having a business, right? It can be your own money, called bootstrapping. It can be raising debt, or it can be getting investors to put money into your business. But you must pay back the investors, and you must also pay back the bank as well. So then that's your cash outflow. And one thing that investors look for, most importantly in any business, is something called the free cash flow. It's called the free cash flow. It's basically the operating cash flow, the balance of all the incomes and outgoing from sale and expenses, minus the capital expenditure, which I spoke about earlier, gives you that number. That free cash flow is basically everything that's left over after you run your business and you buy some machinery, some assets, etc. What's left over? That's money for reinvestment. That's money for growing the business. So investors are really, really hot on that. And what you want in your business, as I said earlier, is to have more inflows than outflows. And by having that, that's called a positive cash flow. And I'm just going to show you quickly here what a cash flow statement looks like. This is not actually the cash flow statement, it's more like a cash flow projection. It has all of the monies that are coming in, and most times you have more going out, more items going out. So it's very clever that you actually have big amounts coming in. And in this particular client I was working for, she didn't have any investment income. But if you make investment income, it can be a very big number for you, right? And the good thing with investments is that you can make money even while you sleep. Yeah, your money can be working for you without you actually working for money. Yeah, that's one of the big things that Robert Kiyosaki teaches, your Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah, how to make your money work for you. Yeah, the harder your money works for you, the less you have to work for money. Yeah, you might want to write that down, The harder you make your money work for you, the less you have to work for money. So, look, conscious of time, this was just kind of giving you a flavor for one of my modules. As I said earlier, you got quite a few different areas. I actually got 4 more modules that I can deep dive into in-depth. I'm only giving you one here. If you are keen to understand more about managing money and investing, or if you're keen to understand how to make money or how to manage the money, then you can get in touch with me. I'm also going to drop a link in the chat box where you can book in a call with me. And if you like Simone said, or even like Melissa said, if you're an implementer, if you're someone who doesn't just let knowledge fall on you and then you don't do anything with it, then I'll be happy to hear from you, and I'll be happy to have a call with you and show you how you can take your business to the next level. These are my social media links, Royston A. Cumberbatch or Royston Cumberbatch. You can Google me. I've got a few YouTubes out there, and I've got a few podcasts as well out there. I'm also starting a podcast as well next month. So this is how you can find me. So I'll drop the link in shortly, but in the meantime, I am going to hand over to Melissa, who will be leading us in the Q&A section. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Royston. Thank you very much. I have put the link in the chat box if anybody does want to book a call with Roy. I used to be one of those entrepreneurs who run away from the numbers and left it to the accountant because it overwhelmed me. But through working with Roy, I'm now able to have a better understanding of my finances and my figures. And once you start to really tap into that as entrepreneurs, it will give you more motivation to go and make more money. And remember to have the purpose behind the profit. So, conscious that we have run over time, apologies for those of you who were expecting an 8:30 finish, because so were we. But if you have any questions, now's the time to put your questions in the Q&A box. They can be to all three of us or to any of us individually. So you can pop those in there now.
You have one already that's in there.
How to approach what's going on. Oh, I think that was in response to
right, okay,
one of the questions earlier that you posed, Simone. Yeah, that should have
thank you for answering that.
Great session, Royston. So does anybody have any questions related to the mindset session that Simone delivered, the marketing session that I delivered, or anything to do with the money management session that Royston has just delivered? Bearing in mind you can speak to us all individually by the links. We have scratched the surface. It's a challenge in itself to go through the information that we have because there's so much of it. So we've literally scratched the surface in one area within our systems, and that is probably we've hit what 5%. So we all have lots and lots of modules. Thank you for your input. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you for joining us today. Yes, lots of food for thought. Yeah. As Royston said earlier, he learns from us. We learn from each other. Thank you.
I have to run, so I'm going to miss the Q&A segment. Yes, Mesha, thank you very much. Look, thanks to everyone for taking the time out of the the busy day. I know that my sister Jessie was on. I know that Susie was on from Aruba. Jessie's on from Grenada. That's obviously the names that actually I noticed. And thank you very much. Look, I think questions help, by the way. So if you have any questions, how do you strengthen your mind? So Simone, I think that's actually a question for you, Simone. How do you strengthen your mindset daily?
How do you strengthen? I mean, there are a number of ways, but for me, certainly reading. There's a saying leaders are readers. So reading, getting information, also really being careful and being mindful of what you feed your mind. So, you have to be really aware of what you're letting in. So that's why I say about reading. So positivity, reading the people that you're around, even surrounding yourself with positive people. So, working alongside Melissa and Royston, even through this time of putting this together and the other work that we do, that's been feeding my mindset. Coming on webinars like this, it's feeding your mindset. So it's always having that growth mindset that I was talking about, how you having a growth mindset and then strengthen it with the things that you're taking in. So and it's really also setting a routine that works for you. That's another, there's so many different things but setting a routine that works for you, self-care, not being so hard on yourself. Business isn't always easy. There are going to be challenges. So set routines that work for you. Take time out. Taking a day off, if you set your business up correctly, in all the ways that we're able to help you with, all three of us, taking a day off will not cause your business to collapse. And in fact, you need that time. Melissa spoke about burnout, and maybe, Melissa can talk more about that, but how you strengthen your mindset daily sometimes is taking time out and regrouping. So yeah, I don't want to take all the time, but yeah, there are a few.
I would like to add that one of the ways I strengthen my mindset, as I said, is that morning routine and that meditation. Even if it's just a few minutes in the morning, you just meditate. And what do you meditate on? Of course, you'll be grateful. Gratitude. Just the fact that you woke up today, you should actually be grateful for that. And also, when we talk about that visualization, if you had that vision, then visualization is obviously saying, right, I'm going towards this thing in the future. So no matter what I'm going through right now, you know that you're going to something bigger. And I would just end by saying, Winston Churchill says this, success is going from from failure to failure without losing any enthusiasm. And I say, the reason I actually said that is that your mind is obviously by reading, but also thinking. Take time to think and think on positive things.
Most definitely. And just to finish off, there was a post that I actually put on my Instagram profile recently. I think I entitled it Daily Rituals for Success. So just to echo what Simone Royston has said, it is, for me, I have experienced burnout after running businesses for 10 years and going really 100 miles an hour, 7 days a week, thinking I was making progress when I was, but I was actually compromising my own health. So as coming out of that and overcoming that and recognizing the things I needed to put in place, and that was 2 years ago. Since then, every morning I have a ritual, and that will consist of 7 things. What Simone and Roy have already touched on: reading, meditating, and prayer for me. Reading over my daily affirmations. I read a chapter of a book, so that I journal. So there's things that it's a set routine every day. And once you put these things, they're like pillars in your life, and you keep on doing them consistently, and you will start to see that your mindset just maintains that general level of positivity. So yeah,
most definitely. Consistency. There's someone that said that consistency beats talent, because it's about being consistent. Whatever you're going to do, finding a routine that works for you and being consistent and disciplined with that. There's so many people that are maybe less talented than you that are further, literally because they're disciplined and they were consistent in what they're doing. So whatever you're doing, keep consistency at the forefront.
That's it. So there aren't any other questions?
There is a next question here. He says, I'm not going to read it. He says, I'm from
okay, yep.
Yep. He says, I'm a new small business owner who has strong value of what I want to give my clients. I can see others cutting corners, but still want to stay true to my offer to clients. I'm aware that this may take longer, so I adopt or stay true to what I offer that is different. I think it's a question. Should I adopt, or should you like stay to what he think he's doing is right? I think that's the kind of question. Maybe Melissa, maybe you can take that.
Yeah, I would say one of the things I advocate to entrepreneurs particularly is authenticity is key. Be true to who you are. We talked about purpose earlier. That also encompasses your morals, your values, and it's important that your values are really seen by your clients. So your values should be in alignment. Your personal values should be in alignment with your business values. They shouldn't be worlds apart, although it's 2 separate entities, as Royston said earlier, but your values should be in alignment because it's what you stand for. So my answer would be never compromise your values, your authenticity. However, as entrepreneurs, we have to be adaptable. So where you see others and your competitors cutting corners, that's not the answer, but you may need to adapt slightly to really speed up and become and accelerate your journey. So that's something. It often takes an external pair of eyes to have a look over your plans to help you identify what that may be, but stay true to who you are. So many people have lost themselves in business. We've seen it so many times. The money gets to their head, the success or the lack of. Stay true to who you are, and success will definitely come your way with consistency.
Yeah, couldn't echo that because of time. I just say I completely agree. But staying, and that's why it's the importance of obviously as well, staying abreast of what's happening in your industry where you're working, see what's happening. Yes, to be able to adapt and to, like Melissa was saying, but not to the point of cutting corners. No, because eventually, I mean, how long is that going to work for them?
Yeah, you think about your clients and how they're receiving that. If you can maintain that quality, it might take you a little bit longer, but once you reach your peak, you'll maintain it. Whereas the others cutting corners, it's not sustainable. Compromising on quality, it's not sustainable.
So, okay, so a few more questions. So we've got, what was your, to all the panelists, what was your greatest failure in business and what did you learn?
Great question.
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
Wow. I mean, I think I'll go for me, in sort of the first year or so, it was losing a lot of money running after, and I don't like to say failure, I always call everything a learning curve. So it's an experience, is losing a lot of money, sort of chasing the shiny penny and trying to do this, becoming a bit of a this thing, the next thing. And that's what I was talking about, when you're not in your purpose, this thing will make me successful. I need to add this and I need to do this, I need to spend this. And a bit of what Roy was saying is thinking leaving everything to the accountant then, and then not being aware of what was happening in my business. And I had to learn very quickly, because I can testify to what Royston was saying there. When you lose money, you're going to lose your business if you don't move quickly. And so, yeah, that sort of chasing the shiny penny, but eventually just losing more than you're actually gaining.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, look, I think for me, it's probably trying to obviously you can, as a small business owner, when you're on a budget, right, you can try to do everything yourself, and and that therefore you are focusing on the how to do this, and you're trying to do things. So what I actually realized is that I could have been much further ahead. I mean, so for example, if I focus on the who, yeah, so if I focus on the who, not the how, I could have been further ahead by having the right people around me, having the right mentors, having the right team. I remember going to something called Shakir.com. I think 4 years ago. I've been to like a business event, and actually it's actually on my vision board now. He said, build a plane while you fly. He said, do an online business, and I actually wrote all these things down. And instead of I was focusing on who can help me to do all these things quickly, I was kind of focusing on how do I do it. So basically, in turn, I've wasted time and I've lost money as well. There's something called opportunity cost. Opportunity cost means if I had focused on the who, like 2 years ago, and I invested in the right people, potentially my online programs would have been up 2 years ago. And by now, I'd have been making a lot of money. But I was more focusing on the how. So in response, I will say to everyone who's actually listening, whatever you're trying to do in business, once you know what you want to do, you know what I mean? So you know what you want to do. For example, if you say, right, I want to start, a supermarket. I'm just speaking because that's one of my clients. Don't think how to start this. Don't think how can I do this? How can I do this? Just think, who can I get to help me, or to mentor me, or to work with me to start a supermarket, and you will get there faster. Yeah. So you might want to write that down. Focus on the who, not the how.
Thank you, Royston. And he'd be making a lot more money. Don't let him fool you. He
is
vintage. My response to that, I was reflecting on that question. It's a great question. The first business that I was in was actually started in 2005, and we led that up to 2010. It was more of a CIC, so community interest company, youth engagement, community engagement. And my lesson, I wouldn't say it failed, it more wound down and I went in a different direction in consultancy. But my lesson from what I learned in that was when we reached 2009, Conservative, well, it was the coalition government came into power, and our business model was really serving public sector clients. Now, when Labour came out of party and coalition came in, all of a sudden budgets were cut. So the clients we were serving could no longer afford or have the luxury to pay us for the services that we were delivering. So where we went wrong, I'd say that was the greatest failure, because I mean, we had a big team, we had a huge team of 9 core staff, we had volunteers, we had a big setup, and we had to let a lot of people go. My biggest lesson was, it's learning to look ahead. And one of the things that I always, working with my clients, it's looking ahead. And, you know, you've probably heard of a SWOT analysis and a PEST analysis. So what political changes could have an impact on your business? Because we're often really, when success and things are going well, you fail to look beyond and think, okay, what if? So it's having a good risk assessment in place. It's having good knowledge around politics and environmental factors that can have an impact. Just like lockdown, lots of businesses won't survive because they never foresaw lockdown happening or COVID-19. So what things can you put in place? So if your things get rocky for you based on external factors, how can you survive and overcome it? So that's probably my greatest lesson. Always look ahead in business, at the horizon, the bigger picture.
That's key. I think that's key.
Someone else said, Pat said, are you planning another session to cover the areas you were unable to cover this evening? Well, this was really a taster. So for those, we all work with clients individually, where we go through the whole system in depth. But it wouldn't be good business practice for us to just continue to do the sessions and give all aspects of it. It's kind of like a preview. So if you're interested in more, then by all means, in any area, book a strategy call with any one of us or all of us, if that's of value.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to answer that in a slightly different way as well. This is like the trailer, you know, like a great movie is out, you know. This was a trailer, you know, to get you excited. You know, I want to see that movie, and then obviously you have to go to the cinema, isn't it? And you have to give them, you know, a small exchange. Most times, they obviously, the money that you actually pay to go to the cinema, you'll get much more value in return. You know, you leave the cinema thinking, wow, that was good. You know, when you book a strategy call with us, we would leave you with that wow factor. You know what I mean? So right now, all you got to do is just use the links that we sent out, and just use that link, and then you can obviously book in a strategy call with us, and we can go through the whole model with you on the strategy call, if that's what you would like to do.
I've just put all 3 in.
It's a good trailer.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Pat.
If you remember earlier in my presentation, I talked about 3 levels of added value. So there's something you can give for free, which is what we're doing. Then there's the next level, the next 2 levels. This is our first level of adding value. So I hope you found value and enjoyed it. We did say we wasn't going to record it, but we've had a few people asking. So we have live streamed to Facebook. We have recorded it, and we can share the recording with you after the session.
Yeah, and a big thanks to everyone, as I said, for taking the time out, you know, for spending, you know, I guess what must have been almost 2 hours with us. There's a lot more where this came from. They said this is just touching the surface, you know what I mean? You know, and we would love to just to speak to a couple of you as well about your goals, where you are. And so, yeah, so look, if not, I'm sure we'll be running some kind of future sessions again. So we could keep you on our list, you know, and obviously send you that email when we have future sessions as well running. Yep.
Not to contradict, sorry, we will be running a few more sessions, but we just won't be deep diving in every single.
Exactly.
Maybe more of the same, because we want to reach more people with what we've done tonight, but you guys.
Correct.
So yeah, we will thank, like everyone said, just thank you from me. What we'll do is the links have gone back in if you'd like to book a call with one of us, 2 of us, 3 of us, we hope all of us, all 3 of us, you know, speak to, we all have our individual expertise as well. And what we'll do is we'll send an email just at the end of either this evening or tomorrow, just saying thank you, and with the links as well for you once again, because because you can either copy it now of the chat box, which is easy to do. I'd say maybe save the chat. You can also do that, so you've got the links, but we'll also send those links out to you too, so that you've got them. But once again, thank you so much. Nearly 2 hours of your time. We don't take that lightly. We appreciate you just sharing with us, and yeah, we look forward to connecting with some of you and helping you take your business to the next level. and maximizing for more success. We want to see more successful businesses. This is what we're in the business of doing, helping you make more profit as well.
Most definitely. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. Take care.
Thank you, and have a good evening or a good, what time, depending on where you are, good morning. Yeah. If you're in Australia, I don't know.
Like for our international attendees.
Yeah, but thank you very much, and whatever you're doing, do it well.
Stay safe. Take care.
Bye-bye.